Hey there, wife, or hey there, mom. I'm so used to speaking to wives. Welcome to the channel, Out of the Dark Parenting. And I wanted to do lives, daily lives. And so I have a favor to ask you. If you find this video helpful, and you get value out of it today, would you like and subscribe? If I get to 50 subscribers, then I can start doing lives. But yeah, YouTube doesn't let you do that without that. Also, my children are downstairs playing, so if you hear that, I just wanted to tell you that this video is not going to be perfect. Lives just seem so much easier to me, so I'm going to treat this like it's a live, although it's not a live. Lives just seem so much more laid back. Anyways, today I want to talk about what I think is the very first step to biblical parenting. And I've not really heard it said. I'm not saying that it's not out there. It maybe is out there. My world is pretty small, so maybe it is out there. But it's in my book that I'm working on right now called The Ancient Path to Parenting. But I really do believe that the first step in this parenting God's way is understanding that our position as a parent is a holy one. Because when we understand that, then our whole approach to parenting is different. The thing is that our children, when they're in our care and they're young and they're not 18 yet, and they're living in our home and stuff, they're underneath us. They're underneath this government and that God has established. Romans 13:1-2 says, submit yourself to the governing authorities, for there's no authority except from God. The governments that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever rebels against that government, the authority, is rebelling against God and will reap judgment. Well, this is the thing. As parents, this is a government established by God to our children. And so when I understand that it is actually like a big deal from God's perspective, then my whole approach to the whole thing is different. Because if I allow disobedience from my child, or I allow them to manipulate me or stuff like that, if I fail to do things as a certain parent, or I am basically cultivating a life of disobedience in my children. And the thing is that God takes disobedience very seriously. And so I'm actually cultivating that in my children. And I really do feel that as parents, I feel that we are, in a sense, God to our children right now. We are a representative. We're not God, we're a representative of God when they're young. And so, and one day when they're older and they have that maturity to understand, salvation and stuff and sin, then I'm going to be stepping aside and they're going straight to the Father. But right now I am the representative. And so if they fail, it's on me right now. If my child is acting up out in the store, it's not yes, it's them doing it, but it's a reflection of me, the parent, because training should be going on at home. The Bible, I feel, gives so much clarity on this because, commandment number 5, honor your father and mother so that your days may be long in the land I'm giving you. So that's a commandment straight to our children. I mean, God didn't leave any of us out, but we have an honorable mention in the 10 Commandments. They are to honor their parents. And this is the thing, when they dishonor their parents, they are dishonoring God. Because later in John 14:15, Jesus said, if you love me, you will obey my commandments. So the opposite's true too. If you don't love me, you won't obey my commandments. So if I make light of my commandments in the home, I am cultivating an attitude of rebellion towards God, because one day it will turn into something more, and it won't be to me, the parent, it will be to God. It could be, or to other authorities that are in their life. I have some notes over here. So that's just kind of the gist of what I want to talk about today. When we understand that our position as a parent is holy, our approach to parenting is so different. You know, the Bible, it says, train up your child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Well, that means that me as a parent, I need to know what the way is, you know, the way that us adults should be taking. I mean, when God breathed out the Bible, he gave it to all of us, young and old. But it's up to me to communicate it in a way that my children can understand. This, to me, parenting is such a holy thing. But a lot of parents today, and I'm sorry, but a lot of Christian parents today, I don't feel like they really get it. Like, and I'm not putting blame on anyone. It's not like that. But it's like, and I don't know who dropped the ball. You know, it's like our parents should have taught us this, but their parents should have taught them. And it's like, when can we ever know unless God comes down and speaks to us? And hopefully you're going to get value out of this video today. And like I said, like and subscribe and all of that. Maybe share it so that I can get 50 subscribers so that I can start doing daily lives. It just seems so much easier to me. I don't know if you watched my first video I did. I just kind of shared a little bit of my story, but this is so connected to my journey as a wife because, you know, I wanted the same peace as a mother as I have now gotten as a wife. And it's like, well, God, if you can do that for me as a wife, then you can do it for me as a mother too. But the thing is it's not like, it's just like my journey with marriage. It wasn't like God just snapped his fingers. He taught me how to do it. It's not like he changed my husband. My husband's still kind of the same guy, you know, still does the same things. He can be harsh, he can be insensitive, all that stuff. It's me who's changed. And the same so applies to parenting because our children, you know, the Bible says folly is built up in the heart of a child. So my child, I mean, hopefully they're going to grow and mature and get it, you know, but it's us who need to change. Our approach to parenting needs to change. And my book, The Ancient Path to Parenting, which I said isn't done, but it's got some really detailed nuggets, and that's what I'm starting at chapter 1, and that's what today is based on. But I do feel like my journey as a wife needed to happen first, because if we are rebelling against their father and that's out of alignment and we're deceived somewhere in there, then there's a very good likelihood that I'm going to be deceived and in my parenting, you know, and not only that, but also modeling that rebellion to my children without even knowing it. So I'm being disobedient to God, you know, submit to the governing authorities as unto God. Wives, submit yourself to your husband as unto God. It's not to him alone. That's false submission, but it's to God. This is our worship. Romans 12, I believe it's, Romans 12:1, offer up your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. So I feel like, because after this whole thing, after God fixed my marriage, you know, and obviously it's not perfect, but after God taught me how to do marriage, then I was basically like, oh no, like I'm losing time, like I don't have, you know, my oldest is 9, and it's like, oh my goodness, I've messed up, I've ruined everything. And those are lies, because they're just lies. Well, the devil, when he speaks to us, he's the father of lies, so he's gonna lie. But the thing is no, marriage did need to come first. I needed to understand the whole government submitting as unto God. And the thing that I'm realizing more and more is that we are to, as wives, we're supposed to submit to our husband as unto God. But when it's our children, they submit to us as unto God. So when we understand biblical submission to our husbands, it's easier to understand biblical submission coming from our children. I know I'm kind of bunny trailing off and stuff, but I wanted to give a little bit of context. So I have some notes here, and this is all off the cuff. I do way better off the cuff. 1 second, I hear someone. I'm just going to ignore it. Maybe I can edit it out if it gets bad. Moms, you know what I mean. But one more thing before I get into my notes. When I say I wanted peace, the same peace as a mother as I had it as I now have as a wife, I'm not saying that like it's a toxic environment. Like, you know how it is with kids. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it is what it is. Things can get crazy and all this, but what I'm talking about is the inside. You know, like peace on the inside. Like we can discipline our children, but then they prey on our emotions, or you know, like the Bible says, train up your child in the way he should go. Well, he doesn't specify in that moment how to train them up, because the entire Bible is for our children too. And so when it comes to disciplining our children, I think a lot of times we don't know the back end rightness to their wrongness. You know, like it happens all so fast and we just don't understand. You know, there's no clear, like, defined roles for how to parent our children, right? And that is also because, you know, it is so connected to our husbands, because when we submit to our husbands as unto the Lord and we take that leadership, God is going to lead our families in accordance to our husband's leadership. So therefore, each of our lives as a parent is going to look different because dad's leading, right? And all of our men are different. Submit yourself to your own husbands. So therefore, every family is custom made. What works for my family won't work for your family, because my family is being led by my husband and your family is being led by your husband. So yeah, that peace, I wanted the same peace that I had, as just like a piece of like, this is right. I know I'm doing the right thing. But we need to know it, right? Like, in order to train our children in the way they should go, we need to know the way that we need to go. I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Overwhelmingly, I'm talking about God, the way he parents his children, us, his children. The way he parents us can be translated to our children. And so before I wrap it up here, I want to just give a couple examples of God parenting, just to kind of entice you and draw you into this. Now, this is all from my book, and I'm just trying to kind of think in my mind, go through chapter by chapter. For example, boundaries with children. Why should I do that? Well, look, because God did it. Look at the Garden of Eden. He laid boundaries out. And this is the thing. Why did he put a forbidden tree? Why not have everything accessible? Because the forbidden tree makes you have to choose. I don't want to force you to obey me. I don't want to force you to love me. So I'm going to put something here to help you choose. And I'm not saying that when we fail, we can't still love God. We live in this broken world. But he laid out boundaries, and he was very clear in his directions. He said, you are free to do this. You must not do this. And when you do that, this is what will happen. And then he was very, he stuck to it. Now, another thing, I wrote about this in my book, and I will get all into it. I want to draw you into this. It's too much for one video. I'm just trying to pick out a couple that really stand out in my memory that I think are really good. But like, the Jumpstart Guide to Parenting, I did write that because I needed something fast. And so that first one actually is online and it's published if you want the Jumpstart Guide, which is actually based on the Garden of Eden. I feel like if we were to just apply this one principle, it would help us, right? And so I will link it below in the description for you. But basically, you know, we can break up each of our children's, like in our children's lives, in our lives, we can break it into gardens. This is my interpretation, and I've never heard anybody say this, but you know, like waking up in the morning, that's a garden. You're free to do this. You must not do that when you do this. Like, so like it's all laid out in that book there. But you can have another garden of like self-care. You could have a garden of, you know, homeschool time, you know, because I homeschool. So I'm getting a little deep into this one, but I will link that below. Here's another thing that I'm going to use to try to draw you in. What should I do as a parent when my child has a snarky attitude? Or, yeah, what should I do when he has a snarky attitude? Well, look at what God did with Cain. You know, he said, where is your brother? And then he has this snarky attitude like, well, am I my brother's keeper? That's a snotty attitude, and it's the first account that we have in the Bible, and God dealt with that. Now, God is God. He knew what was happening. We're not God. But anyways, also another thing in that account, God said, why is your face so downcast? If you do what is right, won't you be accepted? And so my 2-year-old is screaming downstairs. I don't know if you can hear that. I have my mic on, so maybe you won't be able to hear that too much, but she's not getting her way. But what was I talking about? If your face is downcast. So that is a clue to us. If we see that our children have a downcast face, there's something there. Now, God is God. He knew, but we're not God. We need to go figure it out. What's going on? Why do you have a downcast face? What's wrong? It could be a heart attitude where it's like, we need to talk about this. We need to work it out. I'm just going to name off a couple off my mind. It is not good for man to be alone. So I personally don't let my children go off and play alone. Like, I'd like you to stay in the group. And as well, if I have a moment where I need to discipline, I'm not going to discipline you and then send you off. I'm going to discipline you and then you're going to stay with me, because it's not good for man to be alone. What are some other ones? What happens when something's going on and I'm not there to witness it? Well, we need to go down and to investigate. Now, where in the Bible did God do this? Sodom and Gomorrah, God went down. He actually said, I will go down and see if the outcry is true. God is God. He doesn't need to go down. Think of the account with Noah. He knew that it was a wicked generation. He did not need to go down. But I just look at that and I'm like, if God went down, how much more should I go down and to see what's going on, to investigate? These are just some examples, and I hope I'm able to draw you into this. So yes, this video is why our position as a parent is a holy one. I hope you've gotten value out of it. I hope I was able to bless you. Please connect with me. I don't have an Instagram account yet, but you can connect with me in the comments and I will comment on everyone. Yes, I need 50 subscribers in order to do lives. And so that would be just great if you would subscribe to this. What else do I want to say? Oh yes, I'm treating this as if it were a live. So I'm trying to be more relaxed and just, yeah, because, you know, camcording is kind of a nervous thing, but I do really good with lives. I don't know why. So I'm treating it like a live even though it's not. Okay, so you have a blessed day and tune in again. I can't wait to connect with you, and I hope you're blessed.